Hey there, my friend. Grant Baldwin here from the Speaker Lab. Hey, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to join us for today's training. Now, before we get into today's training, I want to walk through just a couple of housekeeping things to make sure we are on the same page. Now, first of all, what you need to know is that today's training is not live. It is a recording of a previous live training that we did on this topic, and we feel that this is actually one of the best trainings that we have done on this. So we wanted to provide it to you in this format so that you could access it at a time and place that makes the most sense to you. Now, although this is a recording, this isn't one of those things where you can kind of start and stop, and it's not like a normal YouTube video or something. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you know there's a set start time and a set end time, and so that you block out enough time to watch the recording in its entirety. Now, it's going to be about 60 minutes or so of the training, and then we're going to get into some Q&A. So you really want to allocate about 75 minutes or so of your schedule. So turn off your cell phone, turn off Facebook, lock out all those things, and make sure that you are dialed in and that you're ready to go. Now, although this is a recording, we would still encourage you to engage in the chat. That's something that we check and review, and we have people in there that can help with stuff from time to time. Also, if you have other questions, please feel free to email us directly at support@thespeakerlab.com. Again, that's support@thespeakerlab.com. One other thing that I'll mention to you is that we have a lot of freebies that we're going to be giving out and including a lot of free resources to, again, help you get going and help you book gigs quicker. So we're going to talk about, right out of the gate here, 3 myths about being a speaker that just aren't true. We're going to talk about 3 secrets that you need to know to find and book speaking engagements. We got a lot to cover here, a short amount of time to do it. So let's jump right in, and I hope you enjoy today's training. All right, let's do this. Let me know if you can see my screen okay. I want to make sure everything is coming through loud and clear for you. And again, let me know if you can hear and see everything all right. Want to make sure we are good to go. And if you're ready, just type in the chat, "I'm ready," or type in "let's do this," or type in "buckle up, Buttercup." I don't know, throw something out there so I know that you are alive and well. You guys ready to roll? You guys are a fired up bunch. I like it. I love it. Keep it going. All right, so today we're going to be talking all about how to get booked and paid to speak without having an existing platform or being salesy. Now, I am guessing for a lot of you, this is probably not your first webinar. And so the first thing I want to mention is that if you've struggled with finding or booking speaking gigs in the past, I want you to know that it's not your fault. The truth is there's a lot of information out there, and oftentimes it can be confusing, it can be overwhelming, and many times it's that information overload that keeps you from success. And so if you've been concerned in the past that you just can't succeed without being a celebrity or having a book deal or a big name or a huge platform or a crazy story about some tragic story that you've overcome, I want to put those fears to rest. You just need the right person to explain the process to you. And so that's what we're here for. I know you have a dream to change the world, to make an impact. And so one of our core beliefs is that your message deserves to be shared. And so today we want to show you exactly how to make that happen during this training. Now, my goal here for this presentation is whether you're a beginner still trying to understand the speaking world, or let's say you're a more experienced speaker and you're trying to book more gigs or command higher fees. I saw some of you mention that in the chat. We're going to walk you through a step-by-step system of exactly how you can book a steady flow of paid speaking gigs so you can build a more predictable speaking business. Is that what you're looking for? If so, just give me a yes in the chat. Give me a yes in the chat. Now, also, we have a totally free Facebook group. If you're not already in there, make sure you check that out later. You can just bookmark that, thespeakerlabgroup.com. Again, that is thespeakerlabgroup.com. There's over 10,000, that's not a typo, over 10,000 other speakers in that free group. So definitely make sure you stop by and check that out. Now, if you haven't done this already, I want you to do this, all right? And I want you just to write down the number. This will just take you about 30 seconds. But if you want to know how much you should charge as a speaker, I want you to go to myspeakerfee.com. Myspeakerfee.com. Answer a couple questions. It'll tell you what you should charge as a speaker. All right, so I want you just to do this real quick. Write down that number and then hold on to that, because at the end, we're going to come back to that. All right, so make sure you have your speaking fee at myspeakerfee.com. Can you do it? You got it? If so, give me a yes in the chat. All right, now I got another favor of you to ask of you. My favor is that you would be fully present, all right? That you would be locked in, that you would be dialed in, because what we're going to be talking about today can really have a significant impact on your business and on your life. And so I don't want you to miss any single thing. So I want you to turn off your phone. I want you to log off of Facebook, turn off the TV, tell the kids to leave you alone, tell the boss to go away for a minute. I want you to be fully present. So if you're fully present, I want you to type that in the chat. Type in fully present. Type in fully present. Now, also, I'm going to rely really heavily on the chat here. All right. I can't see you right now. And so I'm used to speaking to audiences where I can see them. And so in this context, I can't see you. So I rely really heavily on the chat. So make sure that you stay engaged, stay locked in, stay focused here. Don't get distracted. Don't get pulled away by other things. Make sure, just commit to myself, to commit to yourself, that you are fully present and that you are in for this time. Here's a couple testimonials from some other people who've been a part of this webinar. Said, Grant, thank you so much for that awesome webinar. I'm really pumped. I know I can be an awesome speaker. Grant, very nice job on your webinar just now. Very nicely done, engaging, informative, value-packed. Thanks, Grant. Even as someone in sales and marketing for almost 20 years, I gained informative and useful information on this webinar. Thanks for your time. Really enjoyed your webinar the other day. Thanks for taking the time to put that together. Learned a ton. So I share that with you just so you know, listen, what we're talking about here can really have a huge, huge impact. All right. So again, block out those other distractions and make sure you are here and that you are fully engaged. Also, stick around to the end. We're going to be covering a lot of stuff here, but there's going to be some stuff we don't have time to get to. So at the end of our time, I'm going to give you a bonus training on how to create a killer talk. We're also going to give you a speaker website checklist plus 10 of the top speaker websites out there. So we're going to talk a little bit about websites, the importance of having a speaker website. But again, stick around to the end and I'll give you a resource for that, as well as a link for today's slides. I'll just tell you right now, I'm going to talk fast. I'm going to go through slides fast. It is going to feel like drinking from a fire hose. All right. So if you miss something like, wait, what did you say? Can you just go by? No, we got a lot to get through. Short amount of time. I want to be respectful of your time. Let's keep cruising. Cool? Okay, so let me know in the chat, and I'm going to put up a poll here in just a second. Let me know if any of these things sound like you. Have you said anything like this? Have you said anything like, I'm having trouble finding speaking engagements, or I don't know how to connect with decision makers. I'm not sure how much to charge. Am I good enough to be a speaker? Do I have the confidence to be on stage? What if I'm not an expert? Do I need some special qualifications to be a speaker? And can I actually do this? Again, I'm going to put up a poll here. How many of these things have you said or wondered before? Maybe none of these, a few of these, all of the above. How many of you say that this describes you right now? Some of you are like, yes, that is me. That is entirely me. John says, all of those. Are you reading my mind? Yes. All right, so here's the thing. If these things sound familiar, you are in the right place. So on this training, we're going to be talking about the speaker success roadmap. We're also going to be talking about the 3 myths about being a speaker that just aren't true. We're going to bust these right out of the gate here in just a second. We're going to talk about the 7 speaking markets to choose from. We're going to talk about 3 secrets that you need to know that will give you massive confidence with finding speaking gigs. And then finally, we're going to talk about briefly 10 ways to get paid beyond just speaking on stage. So again, we've got a lot to cover in a short amount of time to do it. Now, what makes this training different? Well, this is based on real world results. This isn't based on theories or ideas, but actual results. And so, in fact, at the end of our time here, there we go. At the end of our time here, I'm going to make you an offer to help you more with booking speaking gigs faster through our premium training program called Booked and Paid to Speak. Now, here's the deal, okay? I don't want you to invest in it unless I fulfill my promise to you today. But if I deliver on my word, you should feel at least somewhat obligated to just consider my special webinar only offer. Does that sound fair? Does that sound like a fair deal? I do my part. You stick around, and I'll share with you this training opportunity. Does that sound fair? If so, just give me a yes in the chat. Here's some other people who've gone through our training program. This has been one of the best weeks I've ever had as far as speaking. I booked 4 conferences talks. They're all keynote and they are all paid. Sue said in the last month, I've been asked to speak in Norway, China, Philippines. I'm part of 2 leadership conferences in Vegas. So excited to see things come together. Angela said, this is a few weeks overdue, but I have been confirmed for my first TEDx talk. So these are just a few of the speakers who've gone through our training program and some of the results that they have been getting. And we want to help you do the same. Now, since we're going to be spending a little bit of time together, let me give you the quick nutshell on how I got into speaking. So to do that, let me actually give you some background on me. I'm married to my high school sweetheart. Oh, isn't that precious? No, check this out. You're going to like this. When we started dating in high school, I was a freshman. She was a junior. Oh, what's up now? Huh? Come on now. And maybe, and tell you what, just drop it in the chat. Just maybe say like #Cougar. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. So today we have 3 beautiful little girls. So it's me and a house full of women, which is awesome. My career actually started, I went to Bible college, and then I worked at a local church as a youth pastor for a little while. And parts of it I liked, parts of it I didn't like. But one of the things I really enjoyed was speaking. And so I love speaking. As one of those things I wanted to do more of, but I had no idea where to begin. And I kind of felt like this. I kind of felt like I had the potential, but I needed the plan. I had the potential, but I needed the plan. How many of you say that that describes you? In fact, if that's you, just type in the chat, that's me. That's me. And that's exactly how I felt. I had the potential that I wanted to do this. I knew I could do this. You know you can do this, but I just didn't know where to begin. I just didn't know what I didn't know. And again, maybe that's why you're here, is that you just don't know where to start. You have the potential, but you need the plan. So one of the first things that I did was that I invested in my business. I invested $999 to attend this youth speaker boot camp. Now, as a former youth pastor, I got my start speaking primarily to high school students and college students. Today, I do a lot of speaking to entrepreneurs, to associations, to corporations, a variety of different groups. But I wanted to connect with someone who is where I wanted to be so they could show me how to build and grow my speaking business. And so I'm going to share with you just a second how quickly I earned that $999 investment back. Because I got to be honest with you, that was a huge investment. My wife and I, we were newlyweds. We had our first daughter had just been born. And it just was like a staggering an investment, but I knew I had the potential, and I knew that I needed the plan. That I knew by investing in my business that I could build that business even quicker. And again, I'll share that with you here in just a second. And so, a couple months after attending that speaker training, I booked my very first gig. Here's a couple pictures, actually, from that very first paid speaking gig that I did. And so, I got a question for you. How much do you think I was paid for that very first keynote? How much do you think I was paid for that very first keynote? What do you think? Nothing, $100, $500, $1,000, more than $1,000. What do you think? How much do you think I was paid for that very first keynote? Go ahead and drop something in the chat there. Click something on the poll. Lots of you saying nothing. Maybe just a pat on the head, maybe an attaboy, maybe, I don't know, just more than likely nothing. You ready for this? That very first keynote, they paid me $1,000. $1,000. Now, to me, this was completely mind-boggling. How many of you, if you got paid $1,000 to speak today, like that would be game-changing? That would be completely life-changing. And so for me, it was exactly that. And it wasn't so much just that $1,000, because what happened was, I remember speaking. I remember it going well. I remember the event planner handing me that check. And I remember going out to my car in the parking lot and sitting down. And I remember just being transparent and vulnerable and honest with you. I remember just breaking down into tears, just holding that check and feeling like I can do this. I can do this. And so that's part of what we want to do for you today, is we want to give you not only the step-by-step plan of what you need to do, but we want to give you the confidence that you can do this. You have the potential, and now you need the plan. And so since then, we've gone on to speak at some amazing conferences and events all over the world. And I'll share with you just a couple quick numbers here, how learning to get booked and paid to speak changed my business. Since starting my speaking career, I've earned over $2 million from speaking. I've given over 500 paid speaking engagements, 750 live presentations, 46 U.S. states that I've spoken in, over 500,000 people that I've spoke to live. 13,000 was the biggest audience that I keynoted an event for. And I've also sold over 30,000 physical copies of my self-published book. Now, I stress physical copies, so you know we're not talking like PDF or Kindle version, but like actual physical copies. And I want you to know this, like these numbers are nice, but to me, they represent more than just numbers. They represent like lives that I've been able to impact, maybe even bigger than that. It's how it's impacted my own life. And so I want to share that with you. I want to share with you how learning to get booked and paid not only changed my business, but how it changed my life. How speaking changed my life. So today, I don't have a day job. I get to do what I love with whom I love when I want. I get to travel and work from anywhere. I get to influence others and make a difference. I have options, and I have time and money freedom. And so because of that, one of the things that our family loves to do is we love travel. We love adventure. We love experiences. This is us on a recent trip in California, and this is us in one of those giant redwood trees, and over in San Francisco by the Golden Gate Bridge, and had to stop by Facebook for the obligatory thumbs up picture. This is us swimming with dolphins on a recent trip. This is us with my girls at Disney World. And actually, we just finished recently building our dream house and moved in here. And so this is a pool party we were having in the backyard with some friends. And so again, none of this is a pat on the back in any way. I don't want you to misunderstand that. But what I want to share with you is that learning to get booked and paid to speak not only changed my business, but it's changed my life. And so here's a question for you. This is not a rhetorical question, but I want you to drop this in the chat. What would being a speaker allow you to do that you currently can't? What would being a speaker allow you to do that you currently can't? Again, this is not rhetorical. I want you to actually drop this in the chat. What would being a speaker allow you to do that you currently can't? Maybe for you, it'd be to pay off debt. Maybe it'd be for you to quit your job. Maybe it'd be for you to travel. What would being a speaker allow you to do that you currently can't? Share your knowledge and insights with the world, impact more people, pay all debt, impact people's lives, travel, feeling fulfilled in your purpose, share your message on a larger stage. Yeah, I see a lot of great answers coming in here. Again, go ahead and drop this in here. Let me know, what would being a speaker allow you to do that you currently can't? So what if this were you? Why can't that be you? That should be you up there on stage, because like I mentioned before, one of the things that we firmly believe is that your message is worth sharing. Your message is worth sharing. All right, ready to start that journey? If you're ready to, go ahead and drop in the chat, I'm ready, or type in, let's do this, type in buckle up. I don't know, again, throw something in there so I know that you are alive and well, that you're feeling good, that you are ready to roll. You ready? All right. Do you feel like you can do this? Do you feel like with the right plan that you can make this happen? All right, let's go. So first of all, let's talk about 3 myths about being a speaker that just aren't true. 3 myths that about being a speaker that just aren't true. Number 1 is this. First myth is that you have to be a world-renowned expert or have a tragic story that you've overcome to be a speaker. Listen, this is not true. This is not true. The second myth is this, is that you have to be a celebrity or have an existing platform to be a speaker. This is also not true. Not true. All right. Both of these things are not true. We're going to bust this more in just a second. Third myth here is that you have to be super salesy to get speaking engagements. Here's the reality. None of these myths are true. None of these myths are true. So we want to talk about what is true, though. What is true about the speaking business? So to do this, I want to walk through what we call the Speaker Success Roadmap. The Speaker Success Roadmap. Now, this makes the acronym SPEAK, S-P-E-A-K. And this is the roadmap we're going to walk through here in this training. So the first part is S. You have to select a problem to solve. I'm going to give you the high-level view here, and then we're going to come back and dig into each one of these more in just a second. But the first one is S. Select a problem to solve. Select a problem to solve. The P is for then prepare your talk. Once you know what the problem is that you're going to solve, then we're going to create the solution. What's the solution to the problem that you're solving? The E is for establishing yourself as the expert. Establish yourself as the expert, the go-to person. You are the person that people want to book on this subject or topic. The A is for acquire paid speaking gigs. And some of you may be thinking, wait, that's the whole point of being here. Why is that A? Why is that the 4th step? Okay, we're going to get to that. Okay, we're going to, all these other pieces, the SPE, if you get those pieces in place, then the A becomes so much simpler if you get these other pieces in place first. And then finally is K, know when to scale. So this right here, this SPEAK, this is the Speaker Success Roadmap. This is what we're going to be walking through in this training. This is what you need to follow in order to find and consistently book speaking gigs. All right. So let me give you 3 secrets of being a speaker that you need to know. You might want to write these down. Number 1 is this. Number 1 is, you don't need to have overcome something tragic in your life to be a speaker. You don't need to have overcome something tragic in your life to be a speaker. Let me introduce you to my friend Josh. When I got started speaking, I met Josh at an event. He and I have since spoken at events together, become friends. And Josh is a phenomenal speaker, but he has a crazy story. Look at this. When Josh was a child, he had cancer and ended up having a leg amputated, went on to become a one-legged downhill skier in the Paralympics. And so he tells me this. I hear his story and I'm just like, I just can't compete with that. Like, I'm a normal dude from the Midwest who's had a pretty normal average life. Like what about the rest of you? How many of you have conquered cancer or climbed Mount Everest or built a multi-million-dollar startup or cured a disease or won a Nobel Peace Prize or competed in the Olympics or had a near-death experience? Like, I just haven't had any of these things happen to me. I haven't experienced any of these things. And so maybe you are in a similar spot. And the truth is, you don't need these things to have happened. If you have, that's great, but you don't need to have had them happen in order for you to be a speaker. But what you do need to do is you need to get clear on this. Again, the S, select a problem to solve. Select a problem to solve. So how do you identify a problem that you could speak about? Okay, let's walk through that. We're going to walk through what we call the topic trifecta. The topic trifecta, right? These are 3 pieces that you need to have in place in order to get clear on who you speak to and what you speak about. The first part is what we call industry. Industry, or who. Who is it that you want to speak to? Who is it that you want to speak to? Now, there are primarily 7 different speaking industries, and this you can go a lot more granular than this. You can really dig into the weeds on a bunch of little sub markets, but these are the 7 big speaking industries that tend to hire speakers. You have corporations, associations, faith and churches, nonprofits, government and military, colleges and universities, and education, which is K through 12. That's going to be speaking to elementary, middle school, high school, or teachers. All right. So these are the 7 primary speaking industries. Now, I have a question for you. Which of these would you most be interested in speaking to? Just post a number in the chat there. Just post a number in the chat. Which of these would you most be interested in speaking to? Now, you have to be clear that you can't say, like, I want to speak to all 7, or you can't say, like, I want to speak to humans. That doesn't work. You got to be clear. You want to pick one, ideally just one. And again, we're going to talk more about that here in just a second. So who is it that you want to speak to? Now, again, like I just mentioned, you can't speak to everyone. If I were to ask you, who do you speak to? And you say, I speak to humans. I speak to people. Like that doesn't work. You want to be really, really clear about who it is that you speak to. And if you think you can speak to anyone, you really can speak to no one. If you think you can speak to anyone, you really can speak to no one. So the first piece there that you have to get clear on is the who, the industry. Who is it that you speak to? The second piece of the topic trifecta is what we would call interest. Interest, or a way to think about this is the what. What do you want to speak about? What do you want to speak about? Now, again, this is not a rhetorical question. I want you to drop in the chat. Let us know, what do you want to speak about? What do you want to speak about? Assuming you could talk about anything, what would you want to talk about? That's a way to think of the question. Okay, assuming you were put in front of your perfect audience to talk about any subject, what would you want to speak about? What would you want to say? Again, go ahead and drop that in the chat. So again, it can't just be, here's something that I'm passionate about, or here's something that I care about, or here's something that I like. Remember, part of being a speaker is that you are solving a problem. What problem can you speak on? What problem can you solve? Now, also remember this, that if you think you can speak about anything, you really can speak about nothing. So in the same way, if I were to ask you, who do you speak to? And you say, I speak to humans, I speak to mammals, I speak to everyone. If I ask you, what do you speak about? What's the problem that you solve? And you say, what do you want me to speak about? I can speak about anything. Like that doesn't work. Like that's not effective. So think of it like going to a restaurant. You know, if you and I went to lunch at a restaurant, we sit down, the waiter walks up and asks what we'd like to eat. We'd say, well, we'd want to see a menu. But if they said, well, we don't have menus here, we can cook anything you want. Like we would assume, like, no, you can't. This place isn't any good. You don't want to go to the restaurant that tries to do everything. One of the ways we talk about it inside the Speaker Lab is you want to be the steakhouse, not the buffet. You want to be the steakhouse, not the buffet. If you want a really good steak, you don't go to the buffet. They do have steak on a buffet, right? Sometimes, maybe, but it's not real high quality. It's not the type of thing that you'd want to be eating regularly. You want to go to the steakhouse where that is what they do. And the same thing is true as a speaker. You don't want to be a buffet that offers one of 100 different options. You want to be the steakhouse where you are the best on that subject or topic. You are the best at solving that problem. So again, who do you speak to? And again, what is the problem that you solve? Now, also remember here that interest is a two-way street. Just because you are interested, just because you're passionate about it or something that you want to talk about, doesn't mean that there's a market or a topic that, or there's a market that exists for that topic. So if you said something like, listen, Grant, I'm really passionate about, and I want to speak about how to train dogs to raise your children. Okay, that's great, but like that's why interest has to overlap with industry. Does your audience or industry, do they even care about that subject or topic? So you have to make sure that interest is a two-way street. That's something that they care about and are passionate about as well. So you have industry, you have interest. The third piece is, write this down, integrity. Integrity, industry, interest, and integrity, meaning, are you qualified to talk about this subject or topic? Now, this raises the question, okay, Grant, but what if I'm not an expert? What if I'm not an expert? This is a question we get all the time from people. Realize you don't have to be the world's greatest expert on a subject or topic. Okay, I'll give you an example. I am clueless whenever it comes to cars. I know absolutely nothing whenever it comes to cars. So, in fact, if anybody else is like that, just drop in the chat, clueless. If you're clueless with cars, just type in the chat, clueless. So when I take my car to the local mechanic to have like an oil change, whoever's working on my car, to me, that person is the expert. Why? Because they know more about cars than I do. Now, does that mean that they're the world's greatest expert on cars? No, I know that. They know that. But remember, I'm not looking for the world's greatest expert. I'm looking for this one person who knows more about cars than I do. So you don't have to be the best in the world at something to be considered an expert. You only need to know slightly more about the subject or topic than the audience. All right, so let's come back to the topic trifecta. Remember, you have industry, interest, and integrity. So tell me this, as a speaker, where is it that you want to be? As a speaker, where is it that you want to be? Boom. Right there in the middle. You have to find the overlap between the industry, who you speak to, the interest, what's the problem that you solve, and the industry or the integrity that you are qualified to talk about that subject. Because here's what happens. If you don't have all three pieces in place, if you have the industry and the interest, but you don't have the integrity, meaning you're not qualified to talk about it, you would be what we'd call a bogus speaker. If you have the interest and integrity, but you don't have the industry, meaning there's no opportunities for you to speak on that subject or topic, and there's no audience, you'd be what we call a broke speaker. If you have the integrity and the industry, but no interest, meaning you don't care about it, the audience doesn't care about it, you'd be what we call a bored speaker. You have to have all three pieces. Now, let me be super clear. Most speakers fail because they're not clear on these three areas. I talk with a lot of speakers on a daily basis at all different levels, brand new speakers, advanced speakers, expert speakers, intermediate speakers, up and coming speakers, all of the above. And oftentimes their challenge is they're just not clear on this. They're trying to speak to everybody about everything, and they're really speaking to nobody about anything. You have to be clear on who you speak to, what's the problem that you solve, and are you qualified to talk about it? If you don't get anything else, I want you to lock this slide in your brain. Industry, interest, integrity. You've got to get these three in place. And again, once you get these three in place, it becomes so much simpler. Now, I mentioned to you, we have a training program called Booked and Paid to Speak, where we go more in depth on all of this inside of the program. So we're going to help you get more clear on the different industries, help you determine which markets pay speakers, and determine if you're even qualified to talk about those certain subjects or topics. All right. So we dig into all of this much, much more inside of the training program. So the S is for select a problem to solve. Now, the next part is for P, to prepare your talk. Now, this is not something we're really going to get into today. Like I mentioned, we're going to give you a separate free bonus training. But we actually have a totally separate training program called The Art of Speaking, which one of the things we realize is your best marketing is delivering a great talk. So this is really what we dig into inside Art of Speaking. So in fact, stick around to the end, and I'll mention Art of Speaking to you as well and how you can get your hands on that. Okay, so let's keep cruising on here. Ready for speaker secret number 2? If you're ready, just type in the chat, I'm ready. Type in, let's do this. Type in, buckle up. If you're ready for speaker secret number 2, give me a yes in the chat. We good? Okay, let's keep cruising on here. Speaker secret number 2, look at your screen. You can start booking and getting paid for speaking engagements without, look at this is an important list, without an existing brand, a best-selling book, a blog, a podcast, social media following, name recognition, or online presence. Listen, if you have these things in place, awesome, that's great. But you don't need these things in order to get bookings. You don't need a book. You don't need a big name. You don't need these things in order to get started as a speaker. So the third piece here, you have the S, select a problem to solve, P, to prepare your talk, and then the E is to establish yourself as the expert. Establish yourself as the expert. Now, how do you actually do that? Well, there's 2 key marketing tools that you need. 2 key marketing tools you need. Number 1 is a website, and number 2 is a demo video. All right, let's talk about both of these. First of all, let's talk about your website. You have to have one, all right? In this day and age, if you don't have a website, you don't exist. You need a website if you want people to take you seriously. The second thing I'd recommend is that you use your name as the domain. One of the unique things about being a speaker is, remember, you are the product. You are the brand. And so I actually have grantbaldwin.com for my speaking site. And in fact, I had to purchase it from another guy named Grant Baldwin who owned it. In fact, having your name as a domain is so important. I actually purchased the domain names for my wife and all 3 of my daughters. And now I'm just squatting on those until they need them someday. And then I'm going to sell it back to them at an exorbitant rate. So I'm pretty excited about that. Finally, put yourself in the position of the client. Like, what would you want to see on a speaker's website that would give you comfort and confidence in hiring, in booking them for an event? Now, also remember, don't forget to stick around to the end. I'm going to give you a free download of your speaker website checklist, plus 10 of my favorite speaker websites. So again, make sure you stick around to the end to get those free bonuses. Also, we actually have a WordPress website theme called Podium, which if you're like, I don't have a website, or I have a website, but it's not in the best of shape, this is a WordPress theme that we offer that helps you just create your website from scratch, specifically for speakers, right? So I'll mention this to you in a little bit. In fact, we have a way where you can actually get this for free. So if you're like, I need a website, don't have a website, make sure you stick around for more information on that. Now let's talk about your demo video. Your demo video may be the most important part of your website. So your demo video should be the movie trailer to your presentation. So think about what a movie trailer is. A movie trailer is basically, you take like a 90-minute movie, you boil it down to 2 or 3 minutes, and within those 2 or 3 minutes, it gives people kind of a sense of what the movie's about, of who's in it, what's the plot, what's the theme. And the point of a movie trailer is it makes people want to see more. Like, think about, like, whenever you're at my wife and I, we love going to movies. And so we love watching the previews. We love watching the trailers. And you're just like, oh, we got to go see that. Oh, we're not going to see that. That looks dumb. And so that's exactly what a demo video is supposed to do. It's supposed to help people, make people want to see more. That's exactly what you're trying to do with your demo video. So oftentimes we get intimidated with a demo video because we're like, I don't have great footage, or I'm not sure what to put in it, or all that stuff. Realize that you need to work with what you've got and improve as you go. We're not expecting that your demo video is perfect. Hey, in fact, this is a screenshot from my very first demo video. You can see it's very dark. The lighting's bad. The audio is bad. The acoustics are bad. It's a small group of about 30 people. It was not an ideal setting, but I'll be honest with you, this worked. I got booked for a lot of gigs. I earned a lot of money early on in my speaking career because of this demo video, because people wanted to just get a sense of whether or not I could speak. So work with what you've got, do it with excellence, and improve as you go. Now, just because you have a website and a video doesn't mean anyone cares. This is a mistake that some speakers make is they say, okay, I've got my website, I got my demo video, so I just put it up and I wait for the phone to ring. Like, it just doesn't work like that. If you build it, they will not come. Listen, your mom is thrilled about your website. She's going to tell both of her friends, but it doesn't mean anybody else cares. So you have to make sure that at this point, then we start to reach out to potential clients. That's what we're going to get into in the next step here. But I want you to know you need to have these things in place, but it's not enough. If you build it, they will not come. In fact, let's do some quick movie trivia. Can you name this movie? Great sports movie. One of the best sports movies of all time. What's the sports movie? You remember? Ring any bells? All right, before we get to the next part here, before we get into the acquire paid speaking gigs, how's everyone doing? How's everyone feeling? Talk to me. Are we scratching where you're itching? Are you learning something? Are you starting to feel like, okay, all right, I'm starting to see the roadmap here. I'm starting to see the next steps. I'm starting to see what I need to do. I'm starting to see what actions I need to take. How's everybody feeling? Everybody doing good? Talk to me in the chat. Let me know if you're doing well. All right, cool. Remember, like I said, I want to give you the roadmap. I want to give you the steps that you need to take, but I also want you to know you can do this. I want to demystify this for you. You can make this happen. Okay, so fourth step here, A, is for acquire paid speaking gigs. Acquire paid speaking gigs. So secret number 3 is getting bookings is not about being salesy. It's about building relationships and offering a solution to decision makers. Not about being salesy. It's about building relationships and offering a solution to decision makers. Now, the best potential clients are those who already book speakers. You don't have to convince them to hire a speaker. They're already planning on hiring a speaker. So the best potential of places to start are conferences, association events, and other groups already looking for a speaker. So a school that may be looking for an assembly speaker, a church that may be looking for a speaker, a corporation that may be looking for someone to come in and do some speaking or training. There's a lot of opportunities for organizations and groups that are already looking for a speaker, because you're providing a solution to a need that they already have. So how do you begin to find some of these? Well, there's a lot of ways, but one of the simplest things you can do is you can actually use Google. You can Google to find potential opportunities. Now, one of the ways you can do this is by using, let's say, the audience or the topic keyword, and then you can look up conference, convention, association, group, club, event, some of those different keywords. So let me give you an example. If you were to use knitting as an example, I would go online, and I'll show you this in just a second here. And I would look up things like knitting conference, knitting association, knitting event. I would look this up by state or region or province or territory. I would look up other speakers who would talk about that. I would see what events that they are speaking at. So in fact, that's exactly what I did. I went into Google and I plugged in knitting conference. And look here, 888,000 results. You have Knitters Review, a calendar of knitting events. You have the Knitting Guild Association. You have Stitches events, Knitting Universe. You have Vogue Knitting Live, the ultimate knitting event. You have this knitting and quilting retreat. You have all these different events around the subject and topic of knitting. So here's a question for you. If you were a speaker who spoke on the subject or topic of knitting, do you think that these organizations and groups are looking for speakers like you? Do you think that these organizations and groups are looking for speakers to talk about knitting? Yes, of course, absolutely, right? And so you are providing a solution to the problem that they already have. Now, once you find opportunities, the next step in the process here is you want to contact the decision maker. You want to contact the decision maker. Now, email is the most effective starting point for this communication. Email works really, really well. Now, eventually, you want to get someone on the phone. You want to talk to them, and selling a potential client, connecting with a potential client works really, really well over the phone. But remember that email is a great place to start. So once you identify a potential event, let's say you find a potential knitting event, you could reach out to the event planner, to the decision maker, just to learn more about them. You could begin to learn about the event, learn about what topics they have speakers for, learn when the event is. But also remember this, that this is a relationship business. This is a relationship business. You're not trying to seal the deal on the first day. You're not trying to get married on the first day. You're just learning about the business, learning about their event, and beginning to build that relationship to show why you provide a good solution to the problem that they have. Now, one of the things that we put together here is we put together a follow-up flowchart, This is really important. One of the best ways to build business is not just to reach out once, but to follow up with potential clients. So we have this follow-up flow chart that removes a lot of guesswork. You basically start at the top and you just work your way through. And based on whether or not they reply or they didn't reply or what they said or what they didn't say, this just walks you through exactly what to do next. In addition to this follow-up flow chart, we have 19 pages of email scripts that you should be using. 19 pages of email scripts. So it's basically plug and play. So if you want to know what to say and when to say it, the follow-up flowchart plus those email scripts walks you through exactly what to do. How many of you, would this be beneficial to you? Would this be helpful to you? Talk to me in the chat. Let me know if this would be helpful for you. If the follow-up flowchart and those 19 pages of email scripts, would that be beneficial to you? Would that be helpful to you? Again, let me know in the chat if that would be helpful, if that removes the guesswork. So in fact, we include both of these inside of our Booked and Paid to Speak training program. We make it super, super simple for you to know exactly what to do. Justin, one of our students, said, if you're looking for an effective way to connect with meeting planners and get booked, use Grant's proven email system. Following his advice, I contacted one meeting planner. 2 days later, I was booked to speak at their statewide leadership conference. So he took exactly what we gave him, used it, and was booked to speak 2 days after sending an initial email there, right? This works for us. It works for our students. It will work for you if you follow it. Now, again, you can totally go out and do this without using our email scripts, okay? You can go email a client right now, but if you want to remove the guesswork, if you want to make it even simpler, and you want to know what do I say, when do I say, how do I follow up, all of that, that's what we've included inside of Booked and Paid to Speak. So Google is the quickest way to find opportunities. You could literally go right now, search for some potential events, and you could find some events that would be looking for a speaker like you. You could totally do that right this moment. And Booked and Paid to Speak, we teach 8 more strategies for finding speaking engagement. So we've just kind of scratched the surface here of what is possible. Okay, let's talk about the financial side of it. Okay, show me the money. In fact, let's do another movie trivia. Can you name this movie? Name this movie. Another great movie out there. Another great sports movie. Name that movie. Maybe you can just type in the chat. Type in show me the money. Just type that in. Type in show me the money. Let's talk about fees, okay? Let's talk about this. You can get paid on your first speaking engagement. You can absolutely get paid on your first speaking engagement. Sometimes people are like, I don't even know. Is that possible? Is that a thing? Can speakers get paid? I've just done some free things. You can absolutely get paid for speaking. Now, how much should you charge? Well, it depends. There's a bunch of different variables there. It depends on your market. You can charge more in some markets versus others. You can charge more speaking to corporations than you can to nonprofits. You can charge more speaking to colleges than to high schools. So a big factor is going to be your market. Another factor is going to be your experience. If you're a brand new speaker, you just got started, you typically won't be able to charge as much as someone who's been doing this for several years, who's just a better speaker. They've been at it longer. They have more experience than you. The third factor is going to be your marketing materials. So meaning that your website and your demo video. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to have spent tens of thousands of dollars. You can do a really good website and a really good demo video for very inexpensive or even for free, but they need to look sharp. They need to look professional, because whether we like it or not, whether we admit it or not, whether we agree with it or not, people judge books by their cover. And so if your stuff looks sharp, they will assume that you are a good speaker. But if someone's website looks like crap, they're going to assume that you're a bad speaker. Okay. Whether we like it or not, that's just the way people are. So speaker fee ranges, it can range significantly. So education, college, new speakers, even in the like nonprofits and church world, it's usually going to be anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000. Now, sometimes it can be a little higher, sometimes it can be a little lower, but it can vary a lot. Up and coming corporate speakers is anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. For professional corporate speakers who've been at it for a while, usually anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. Best-selling authors, athletes, B-list celebrities, it can be $20,000 to $50,000, and celebrity speakers, it can be $50,000 and way up from there. It varies significantly from a couple of bucks to literally tens of thousands of dollars, depending on a bunch of different factors there, right? So again, if you want to know how much you should charge, that's why, again, we recommend that you go over to myspeakerfee.com. And again, if you haven't done that already, again, totally free tool, answer a couple questions and it'll tell you what you should charge as a speaker. Do that, because again, we're going to come back to that here in just a couple of minutes, all right? Okay, so let's get back to the speaker success roadmap. We have the S, select a problem to solve. The P, prepare your talk. The E, establish yourself as the expert. The A, acquire paid speaking gigs. And the K, know when to scale. See, generating revenue and impact as a speaker isn't limited to just speaking from stage. Speaking from stage is a great way to make a living. It's a great way to make an impact. But there's a lot of other things that you could do to make an impact and to make an income. Let me give you 10 ways that you can get paid beyond a speaking fee. So having a book, curriculum, product, coaching, consulting, webinars, online training course, train the trainer, advertisement, sponsorships, referrals, all 10 of these are ways that I've used speaking to generate revenue and impact in my business and other ways. So I'm curious, which of these would be ways that most interest you? Which of these most interest you? Just give me a number in the chat there. Which of these most interests you of how you would like to get paid beyond a speaking fee? Now, I saw a question there in the chat. Would you know if these ranges are about the same in the UK or other parts of the world? Well, it definitely can depend, right? There's a lot of variables and factors. While I'm based in the US, a lot of the students that we work with are based in the US. We actually have students in 16 different countries from around the world that are inside of our Booked and Paid to Speak training program. And all of them, again, are in different parts of the country speaking, or different parts of the world and speak on different topics at different experience levels. But all of them have found, while there are some things that have to be adapted, that oftentimes the same approach, the same system still works, and the fee structures are going to be a little bit different from country to country, but for the most part, it's going to be pretty close to the same for several different industries here. All right. Let's keep cruising on here. So let's recap where we're at so far here. So number one, identify a problem that you could speak on. This could be industry, interest, integrity. Number two, this could be position yourself as the expert. Create your website and video. Number three, identify existing events that book speakers. Number four is contact decision makers. And number five, build, grow, scale your speaking empire. Now, let me be clear. This is a lot of work, right? I want to make sure that you know, like, I want to demystify it. I want to simplify that for you, but it's still work. You can do this though. All right. And now, like I said, I know that I've talked fast. I know that I've gone through slides fast. I'm going to say that this feels like you right now. In fact, if that's you, just type in the chat. That's me. If that's you right now, just type in the chat. That's me. You just feel like this right now. You just feel maybe a little worn out, talking fast, going through slides fast. I'm going to say that describes you right now. Now, I mentioned to you we have some free bonuses where we're going to we want to hook you up with. So let me drop that in the chat there. You can find that over at thespeakerlab.com/BPS download, thespeakerlab.com/BPS download. So make sure you stop by and check that out for that how to create a killer talk bonus training, your speaker website checklist, plus 10 of the top speaker websites, plus today's slides. So make sure you stop by again, thespeakerlab.com/BPS download, and check that out. Okay, let me ask you this. Has this been worth your time so far? Again, I know that you're busy. I know that you have a lot going on. We still got more to cover here, more to get to, but I want to make sure that this has been worth your time. Has this been worth your time so far? Let me ask you this question. What has been your light bulb moment so far? What has been your light bulb moment? What is it? What has been something where you're just like, oh, I didn't realize that, or you had this like something that clicked for you. You had this aha moment. What has been your light bulb moment so far? What was it? Something that you didn't realize, something that you took away, something that gave you a little bit more confidence? Again, just drop that in the chat. What has been your light bulb moment so far? What's been that aha moment so far? Let me ask you a question. If you followed what I showed you in secret number 1, and you got really clear on that expert positioning, on who you speak to, what problem you solve, and then you did what I showed you in secret number 2, you got your marketing assets in place, you got your website, your demo video in place, and you did what we discussed there. And then you did what we discussed in speaker secret number 3. You created a repeatable system to find and book gigs. Do you think you could be successful? Do you think you could be successful? Let me say that again. If you took everything we've shown you today and you implemented it, you applied it, do you think you could be successful? Let me know in the chat. That's not a rhetorical question. I want to know, if you took everything we've shown you today and you implement it, you applied it, do you think you can be successful? Let me ask you another question. Can you do this? Can you do this? Again, I want to give you the steps, but I also want to give you the confidence that you can make this happen. You can make this happen. Now, here's the truth. We've covered a lot, but there's still so much left to learn. Like, we haven't even talked about things like, how do you prepare a memorable message that resonates? We haven't even talked about presentation skills, when you should and shouldn't use technology. We haven't talked about how to network with other speakers. What do you do after you get booked? Travel. Who pays for what? Do I pay for that? Do they pay for that? We haven't talked about how to transition into a full-time speaking career, creating and selling product, working with speaker bureaus. I mean, there's a lot that we haven't even had a chance to get to or cover. And so here's the reality. If you liked what I gave you for free today, you're going to love the rest of the training. All right. This is why we created Booked and Paid to Speak. And so, is it okay with you if I spend a few minutes just going over this special offer that I've created to help you book gigs faster? Is that okay? Just give me a yes in the chat if that's okay. Just give me a yes in the chat. All right, cool. So Booked and Paid to Speak is a complete A to Z blueprint for creating a system in your speaking business that gets you booked, period. That's exactly what this is about. And here's how we do this. First of all, we give you a step-by-step video training program. This is what's going to walk you through exactly what you need to know. So what exactly do we teach is the Speaker Success Roadmap. So again, we take what we've covered today. We've given you a high-level view of what you need to do. The select a problem to solve, preparing your talk, establishing yourself as the expert, acquiring paid speaking gigs, knowing when to scale, all of that stuff we've just scratched the surface on. So we're going to go much more in depth with these and tell you exactly what you need to do. So what exactly will you learn? We're going to help you get clear on which industry you should speak to, helping you know which topics clients and event planners are hiring speakers for. We're going to give you what we call the speaking industry matrix, which is which industries pay the most versus which are easiest to break into. We're going to talk about how to create and structure your presentation, how to deliver a great talk that generates repeat and referral business. We're going to give you resources for creating your website and demo video and establishing your online brand. We're going to help you understand how to price yourself as a speaker and how and when to negotiate to earn more, plus a look at my own speaking fee structures. We're also going to help you know how to sell yourself to a client, even if you're someone that hates selling. Also going to talk through how to find more speaking opportunities that are right for you. Where do you look? Where do you go? What do you do? We're going to walk that through. We're also going to show you what to do after you get booked to create a great experience for the client so they want to refer you and work with you again in the future. One of the biggest sources of bookings for speakers, it oftentimes comes from clients that they've worked with in the past, either from referrals or from repeat business. So we want to show you how to take every single engagement that you do and turn that into additional engagements in the future. We're going to talk about how to deal with finances and taxes and business structures as a speaker. We're going to let you actually listen in on a real actual sales call recording to learn how to build rapport with a client and what questions to ask, how to talk fees, how to close the deal. So this is a call I had with a potential client, and you're going to hear exactly what I say to them, what questions I ask, how I engage and interact with them. So you're going to be able to listen to that call. We're going to walk through how and when to hire staff and travel tips and strategies for speakers, how to transition to being a full-time speaker, and how to work with speaker bureaus, or whether or not you even should. So literally A to Z, everything that you need to know about building and growing a speaking business, that's exactly what we want to do inside of this training program. Now, let me introduce you to some people who are just like you, who have gone through the program. Let me introduce you first to Eric. Eric started dabbling with speaking in 2015. He got serious in 2016 and booked 21 gigs for $23,000. In 2017, he did 54 gigs for multiple six figures in revenue. He's booked gigs over a year in advance, and he did all of this. This is my favorite part. He did all of this while being married, raising 3 kids, and working a full-time job. That's crazy, right? But Eric had a plan. He would tell you he has nothing special. He has nothing that you don't have, except he has a plan. He has the exact same system that you can get here. He said, hey, Grant, I booked $20,000 worth of speaking gigs the past 2 days. The floodgates are wide open. Really cool. So rather than me just talking about it, let me let you hear straight from Eric. Check this out.
Hi, my name is Eric Ream, and I am a professional public speaker. I started this journey back in 2014 on my own when I decided to see whether or not this would work for me. So on top of doing a full-time job, by the end of 2014, I earned about $5,000. I continued to try it out and try to figure out different ways of being a professional speaker in 2015. And by the end of that year, I earned about $9,000 on top of a full-time job. But it was in December of 2015 that was a game changer for me. You see, I learned about Grant Baldwin and his program, Booked and Paid to Speak. I consumed that course. I purchased a course, went through it in December of 2015. I applied what I learned in 2016, and by the end of the year, I earned $35,000. I had huge momentum at that point, using what I learned from Grant and from his system. And in 2017, I continued to apply what I learned in the course, and I'm happy to report, I just did my taxes, I'm happy to report that I had 53 paid speaking gigs and earned $150,000 as a professional speaker on top of a full-time job using Grant Baldwin's system for public speaking. Now, folks, this is what $150,000 in checks looks like. It's fantastic. Now, using Grant's system, I continue to use it. So far this year, I have 23 gigs already booked. I even have a gig booked in 2019, and I'm projected to earn about $200,000 this year in 2018. And I'm happy to say I'm in the process of transitioning into being a full-time public speaker working on my own because of the Booked and Paid to Speak system. So whether you want to be a full-time speaker or a part-time speaker, or maybe you just want to see if this works for you, I highly recommend you check this course out. And what you're going to learn is all the ins and outs of how to run a speaking business, how to get gigs, how to follow up, the email process, the contracts, all the things that helped me get to where I'm at right now, and I continue to learn. Grant's system is fantastic. So I hope you check it out, and when you do, you'll plug into the Booked and Paid to Speak community and hang out with speakers like myself, and we can help each other, we can learn from each other, and I look forward to seeing you there and seeing you out on the speaker trail. Again, my name is Eric Ream. I am a professional public speaker because of the Booked and Paid to Speak system. Thank you, Grant Baldwin, and I'll see you guys out there on the trail.
All right, so really cool stuff from Eric. Did you like that? again, I want you to hear from others to know that this is possible, that you can do this. Let me introduce you to Melanie. Melanie left a successful corporate job with time. She worked at a big corporate job in downtown New York City. She's booked gigs in London, New Zealand, Germany, Argentina, Vienna, Sweden, and Bulgaria. She shared the stage with speakers like Gary Vaynerchuk, Seth Godin, and Jay Baer, has spoken at nearly 100 events in less than 3 years, and uses speaking as a tool to build other parts of her business. So she does a lot of consulting, she does a lot of writing, she does a lot of teaching. And so she uses speaking as a way to build other parts of her business. Look at this. She says, I followed Grant's advice from the course, built a relationship with a company that does conferences in several markets. After doing 5 events for them, breakout sessions for 200 to 400 people in their smaller rooms, I just found out they put me on the main stage this time, 2,750 seat theater tomorrow. That is a legit theater, right? How many of you would like to speak in that room? If so, just type in yes. If you would like to speak in that room, just type in yes. That's a good looking room right there. That'd be very cool. Look at this. She shared this. Said, landed in New Zealand right in time for sunrise for a corporate event. Things like this make all the travel even more worth it. Hope you all have wonderful adventures coming soon too. So again, rather than just letting me tell you about Melanie, I want you to hear directly from Melanie herself.
My name is Melanie Diesel. I'm a professional speaker and an advertising consultant. I got my start speaking when I was still working a corporate job. I was working in a media company, and my job was to go out and talk about the work that my team was doing. Over time, I realized I might have liked that a little more than my regular job. So I looked into the possibility of opening up my own shop and becoming a public speaker. I didn't really realize until that point that people were doing this professionally, and I saw the opportunity for myself. I signed up for Grant Baldwin's program, Booked and Paid to Speak, and learned all about how to do outreach, how to convince event organizers that I and my message were worth bringing into their conference and their events. My first year out on my own, I did more than 50 gigs, and I traveled 100,000 plus miles. I got to speak in 5 different countries and bring my message about brand storytelling to tens of thousands of marketers across the globe. But here's the thing, I didn't do anything that you can't do. I signed up for the course and I learned how to do this, how to make it a business, how to be serious about the way that I present myself, about positioning myself as a speaker, how to reach out and connect with decision makers and convince them that my message and your message could be worth bringing in for their audience. If you're at all interested in becoming a public speaker and making public speaking part of your business, then this is something you need to do too. Sign up for the course and come join us. And so you know, I believe in what we're doing so much that I've come back and I now work as a coach with Booked and Paid to Speak. So I'm able to use my experience, having gone through the course and now working as a professional speaker, to give back to the community, to help others follow the same process and build up their own business to become a public speaker. So I hope that I'll see you in the course soon.
So again, I want to share this with you, that this is not just, me sharing my 2 cents and sharing some screenshots, but these are people that are just normal people like you. Let me share with you one more to show you what I'm talking about here. Meet Sue. Last week, I was invited to a vet conference in Ontario next January. They offered her $1,500. I scheduled a call, listened to her, learned about the meeting, then told her my fee was higher. The committee today approved $3,500. Full day of speaking, but I'm so excited. First time I've negotiated one of vet conferences. Thank you. I'm learning so much. So look at this. They offered her $1,500. She went back and negotiated for $2,000 more. Why? Because we taught her what she needs to ask for, what she needs to do, and how to approach that event. And because of that, she earned $2,000 more from that one event. This is one of my favorite things that I've seen from a student. She said, I just wrapped up 4 lectures for a veterinary conference in Maui. So you can see in that small profile picture there, Sue is married with 2 boys, and they were able to take a family bucket list dream vacation to Maui. Why? Because of speaking. And so again, that question comes back to what would speaking allow you to do that you currently can't? What would speaking allow you to do that you currently can't? Now, here's the cool thing about Eric and Melanie and Sue, is every one of these speakers would tell you that if they can do this, that you can too, that they are nothing special. They have no special qualifications. They are not celebrities in any way. They are normal people just like you. Now, let me show you a fun little picture. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And at this point, I'm afraid to ask. Okay. So if you feel like this is you, if you are still unsure who you would speak to or what you would speak about, we will help you get clarity. Remember, everyone starts at zero. See, you may be thinking like you can't get started with this because you're still unsure on a few things. Here's why that would be a mistake that will hold you back from success. Everyone starts from zero. This is one thing I say a lot to our students. Everyone starts from zero. Nobody has it figured out from day one. You never feel 100% ready. And so that's where we can help you get pointed in the right direction. So who has this worked for? Well, if you are someone who wants to become a speaker, but you have no clue where to start or how to do it, this is for you. If you're someone who is struggling with running a profitable speaking business, but you love the art of it, I love speaking, I just need some help on the business side of it, okay? That's where we excel. We can help you with that. Or number three, maybe for you, you are someone who you're a seasoned veteran. You've been speaking for a while, you've been in the industry for a while, but you just lack systems and desire strategy, and you want to streamline your business, okay? This is for you. Now, in addition to the training course, we're also going to give you lifetime access to the training materials. That way you can go as slow or as fast as you want, whenever you want. Actually, I talked to a speaker this morning who said, hey, I joined the program a year ago and just got distracted. I was working on a book project and I'm ready to dive back into speaking. I was like, awesome. Glad you're back. Good to have you here, right? So you have lifetime access to the materials. All the resources are downloadable, PDFs, videos, MP3s, worksheets, all of that, plus just quality support. We want you to be successful. We want you to find and book speaking engagements. We want to do everything we can to ensure that happens for you. Now, as you go through this, sometimes you may feel like you're all alone. We don't want you to be all by myself. I know. I know it's cheesy. It's corny. You just got to roll with it. So we also put together what we call the Booked and Paid to Speak community. This is a private discussion group with over 1,000 different speakers from all over the world that you can connect with, that you can talk with on a daily basis. Myself, Melanie, our team, we're in there daily answering questions, providing feedback, and helping you move forward in your speaking business. We also do a monthly live Q&A call that you can go back and listen to. You can check out. We also have networking with other speakers as well. So you can connect with other speakers who are in your space who are looking for some help. So here's that private Facebook group. You can see there's over 1,000 members in there that you can connect with. And even just earlier today, I was talking with a speaker who had a question about a specific organization or group, and I was able to connect them with a couple other speakers who speak to similar audiences, and they were able to get the answer that they were looking for. Here's one of the monthly Q&As that Melanie and I did, where we're on live for about an hour or so, just answering questions. So whatever questions you've got, we're on there live, just answering your questions. So you've got that. Plus, you can go back into the archives and listen to all the previous calls that we've done where we're teaching and training. Kendra, inside that private group, said, I was asked to keynote an event in Dallas in March. The best part is the person hosting is in this community. So I share that with you so that you know we have several speakers who book gigs just from that group. We're able to connect with other speakers and end up booking gigs from it. All right, so you're going to get the Booked and Paid to Speak video training program, which again is that step-by-step video training system on exactly how to find and book gigs to build your business as a speaker. And then also the private discussion group and those Q&A calls. So that private discussion group, that's the group with over 1,000 speakers, and that monthly Q&A call, that live Q&A call that we do answering all of your questions. Now we got some bonuses. You like bonuses? If so, just give me a yes in the chat. If you like bonuses, let me know. I assume you do, right? All right. So first bonus we're going to give you unlimited email consulting with myself and our coaches. So if you get stuck, you have a question, you're going to get 3 months of this unlimited email consulting. So you email us directly. If you have a question, you get stuck, you feel concerned, whatever it may be, you have that unlimited email consulting. Or if you're like, hey, I'm wondering how much I should charge, or I emailed a client, this is what they ask. What do I say in this? You have us on standby. We are your lifeline to help you with this. All right. So that you'll get that unlimited email consulting. You're also going to get our email scripts, our contracts, our checklists, what we call the Booked and Paid to Speak vault. So every document that we use in our business that's going to help you book more business, stay more organized, eliminate stress, we give all of that to you. So like I mentioned to you earlier, those email scripts for reaching out right there, those email scripts, the follow-up flow chart, that right there, we're going to give that to you as well. Our speaking agreement, like if you got booked right now, like what would you send them? Would you know what to send them? We want to give you want to send them a contract, and so we're going to give you our contract that you would send them, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We're going to give you our event information form, our speaking writer, our event checklist, which is about 50 different items you need to do before, during, and after the event, and it just removes the guesswork. It removes the stress for you. So all of these systems and processes, emails, follow-up chart, the speaking agreement, the checklist, all of that, we're going to give all of those to you. We have a lot of people who reach out and say, Grant, can I just get that? Like, that's the part I really, really want. No, we include this inside of Booked and Paid to Speak. So that's going to be included for you as well. The third bonus we're going to give you is 12 advanced training modules. So we've interviewed 12 different experts on different things like writing and publishing a book, on building an email list, on building an online course, on some advanced strategies for email marketing, for reaching out to potential clients, for how to sell from the stage. So a lot of different advanced strategies for speakers we're going to give you here in these 12 advanced training modules. And then finally, 12 speaker success stories. So we've interviewed 12 different speakers, new speakers, veteran speakers, just to hear more about how they got started, how they find gigs, how they've built their speaking business, so that you can follow in their footsteps and learn from them. So here's a recap of what you're going to get: the Booked and Paid to Speak video training program, the 3 months of the private discussion group and Q&A calls, the unlimited email consulting with Speaker Lab coaches, the Booked and Paid to Speak vault. Remember, that's those emails, contracts, checklists, all of that's going to be included. And then the 12 advanced training modules and the 12 speaker success stories. So plus we've got a couple other bonuses I'm going to talk about here in just a minute. So total value there is just under $11,000. Like, we tried to take everything we possibly could and cram it in here to make sure you are successful. We want to leave no stone unturned. We want to do everything you can we want to provide everything we can to make sure you are successful. Michael said, hey, from Birmingham, got in on the course after the webinar last night. Been following the podcast for a while. I am so glad I invested in this course. I just dove in. It's awesome so far. Looking forward to growing and finding my voice with y'all, and hopefully I can contribute and help many of you along the way. Andrew said, emailed 38 inquiries since beginning, booked 2 engagements, which will pay $2,000 per event. Per event, right? So $4,000 right out of the gate. He said, paid for my BPS investment, first 2 gigs using the system, just an inquiry with my website listed as the signature. Simply ask if and when they book presenters, and if I could assist in that process in any way by being the speaker, helping them find the right person. Look at that, the 2 gigs for $4,000 just from following the system. Christopher says, boom, booked in for a Mexico sales conference, sold 200 books for the event. Thanks, Grant. The course is paying off huge. My mindset, confidence, and attitude are exploding. So here's a question. If all this course did was to help you book 1 speaking gig every month, would that be worth it to you? Would that be worth it to you? Just give me a yes in the chat if it would be. If all this did was to help you book 1 speaking gig per month, would that be worth it to you? Yeah? If all this did was to help you to create systems so you had 1 free day each week, not trying to reinvent the wheel, would that be worth it to you? If so, just give me a yes in the chat if you feel like it would be helpful for you. If all this did was to give you the ability to raise your prices and ultimately reach your goals, would that be worth it to you? If all this did was to allow you to have more work-life balance, would that be worth it to you? So again, we know this works if you do the work. Now, let's come back to one thing we talked about earlier. We talked about going to the myspeakerfee.com. Did you get the MySpeakerFee? Did you go to myspeakerfee.com and get your fee? If so, just post in the chat how much it was for you. So if you haven't had a chance, you can go over there real quick. Again, you go to myspeakerfee.com, answer a couple questions, and it'll tell you what you should be charging as a speaker. So again, go back over there to myspeakerfee.com and then just post in the chat how much you should be charging as a speaker. Several of you dropping answers in there: $1,700, $3,200, $2,500, $3,800. Yeah, keep dropping them in the chat there. Most of you are several $1,000s for 1 speaking gig. Several $1,000s for 1 speaking gig. And again, that's the possibilities within the speaking industry. That's one of the amazing things about the ability to earn an ROI. See, other investments literally take years to earn your money back. But with Booked and Paid to Speak, you can earn it back on 1 gig. You can earn it back on 1 gig. Like if you were selling books, how many books would you have to sell to earn back as an investment? You got to sell a lot of books, but with speaking, you can earn it back on 1 gig. Lots of answers continue to come in, 2,600, 2,400, 1,200, 3,000, 3,800, 2,900, 5,000. Excellent. Great. I love it. I love seeing that. One of our students, Eric, said, it's been 6 weeks since I signed up for BPS. I don't know what I was expecting. I knew I needed to try something. I went through the modules, although it didn't register completed. I didn't know how to click the button at the bottom. I thought the program and the materials was too basic, too simple. How could doing these common sense things be key to success as a professional? I tried it. Look at this. In 6 weeks, I've booked, received, signed contracts and deposits for 12 events through December of this year. Bottom line, thank you, Grant, and your team. Look at the bottom there. What's that number there? 12 events for how much? $27,000. $27,000 in 6 weeks after signing up for the program. Took it, applied it, went through it. $27,000 from 12 events. I love that. That's so cool. Mike said it implemented one strategy from the first module and it worked. A school that's very interested. Remember, the money is in the relationships. Boom. Roger said, love how the system works. Just booked a 2-day workshop. Eric said, great morning. Booked 2 events yesterday, a 1-day training for $3,100 and a 2-day training for $4,700. Todd said, it's like you sat down, made a video course answering every question I ever had about speaking. Just booked my first gig for $2,800. Kendra said, I signed up a year ago this week. Right now, I'm on my way to DC to speak at a national convention. Fee plus all expenses paid, even in first class. Got to say, flying in first class it doesn't suck, right? And then below there, I'm super, super excited. Just booked my first $10,000 event. And thanks to your program, I have a system that brings a level of professionalism like the pros. All right. Again, none of these people are like these celebrities or bigwigs. They would all tell you they are normal people. And if they can do this, you can do this as well. Another one here from Tom says, big win. I purchased Grant's booked and paid to speak program 1 month ago. Just booked my first state conference gig just now for 2.5 times what I paid for Grant's program. Thanks, Grant. Your program is a no-brainer for anyone who wants to get paid to speak. Again, we know this works if you do the work. So let's do a quick recap here, and then I'll give you the option. Some of you are messaging me privately going, all right, dude, I want in. How do I join? Ready to take action. Okay, hang on. We're getting there. So here's the deal. We've got the booked and paid to speak video training program. We have the private discussion group and Q&A calls, the unlimited email consulting, the booked and paid to speak vault, the 12 advanced training modules, the 12 speaker success stories for just, plus some more bonuses still to come. So just under $11,000 there in value. So even if we offer this for $5,000, this would totally be worth it because of the ability to earn that back in just 1, 2, 3 events, right? Several examples I shared with you of people who booked their first gig for $10,000, for $5,000, for $2,500. You can absolutely earn that back on 1 gig. Now, don't worry, we're not going to do it for $5,000. Even at $3,000, we want to make this an absolute no-brainer for you. Again, you really, for most of you, from what numbers you had, a lot of you, it would just be 1 gig, and you would earn back your investment. But don't worry, not even for $3,000. Now, normally on the website, if you go to thespeakerlab.com, we offer booked and paid to speak for $14.97. And pretty regularly, we have people who still join at that price for $14.97, which again, it's very easy to book a gig for $14.97 and to earn back that investment on 1 gig. But check this out. Again, if you go to our site, you can get it for $14.97. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to knock off an additional $500. And you can do it for just $97 a month for just 12 months, or just a one-time investment of just $9.97. So $9.97, just a one-time investment, or just $97 a month. $97 a month. Like, part of me thinks we're crazy for doing that but at the same time, I know, like, we want to make this a no-brainer for you. We want to make this as easy as possible. So if you're ready to join, what you can do is you can go to, you can click on that link on the side there, or go to thespeakerlab.com/action. Thespeakerlab.com/action. Now, I said I got some more bonuses I'm gonna give you here in just a second. But again, $97 gets you access to everything we showed you here. And again, we want to make it an absolute no-brainer for you. So at this point, you have a choice. Your first option is that you can spend countless frustrating hours like I did. You're trying to make sense of it all. You're stumbling your way through, and maybe one day it all comes together. Maybe, possibly, hopefully, hypothetically, maybe. Or option two is that you can take the fast track. You can get step-by-step help from professional speaker mentors who have been there, who've been where you want to be. And so listen, if you're serious about doing this, then this is absolutely for you. You need to take action and you need to join Booked and Paid to Speak. Now, some of you are like, okay, I'm interested, I'm intrigued, but I'm on the fence. Okay? What if I could take all the risk away for you? Okay, what if I could do that? So here's my guarantee for you. Take the course for 60 days. Do the work. Give an honest effort. If you don't see results, I'll give you your money back. All right. So take the course. You got 60 days. 60 days is a long time, 2 months. So do the work, give an honest effort. And if you don't see results, I'll give you your money back. We know this works if you do the work. Now we're going to take it a step further though. Okay. We're so confident in what we offer inside Booked and Paid to Speak and the training program that we offer a double your investment guarantee. Meaning that if you follow the system we teach, you don't at least double your investment within 1 year, we'll give you your money back. We know you're going to double your investment. So if you invest $1,000, we know that you're going to earn back at least $2,000. And if you don't, we'll give you your money back. That's how confident we are that we know this works. If you do the work, you will at least double your investment. I showed you several examples earlier of people who've done way more than that. They invested $1,000 and they booked one gig for $2,800, for $4,000, for $10,000 from one gig. This works if you do the work. Now, we also know this. We know that your best marketing is a great talk. So that we want to help you out there as well. So I mentioned to you, we have a separate training program called The Art of Speaking. We offer on our website for $397. You can go over there and grab it for $397 if you want. But for those who join Booked and Paid to Speak, this is an option. You can add the Art of Speaking to your membership, to your order, and you can get it for just $197. So we cut the price of the Art of Speaking in half, and you can get it for just $197. So if you want to know how to create and deliver a great talk, that's what Art of Speaking is. So Booked and Paid to Speak is about how to find and book speaking engagements. The Art of Speaking is about how to create and deliver a great talk. So inside Art of Speaking, we talk about how to find that clear objective for your message and how to organize and structure your talk, how to write, craft, deliver a compelling story, how to use humor, even if you don't think you're funny, how to deal with nerves and stage fright. What do you do when things go wrong on stage? And they will go wrong. They happen all the time. How do you deal with tough and uninterested audiences? How do you deal with all things technology, slides and microphones, etc., as well as what do you wear and not wear? So all of this we've put together and much, much more for inside the Art of Speaking. So again, it's a separate training program. It's totally optional, but if you would like to get that in addition to Booked and Paid to Speak, then they are a great complement to help you know how to not only find and book gigs, but also how to create and deliver a great talk. We also include a director's cut behind the scenes video of my keynote. So this is my actual keynote. And you see me in the lower corner there of this video. I walk through my keynote, the behind the scenes of my talk, and kind of explain to you how I do transitions, how I tell stories, how I use humor, how I interact with the audience. All of that's going to be behind the scenes that you can actually see how I do it. I'll also give you my talk manuscripts for several different talks so you can see how I put together a talk. Plus, we'll give you our talk creation worksheet template. So when you're staring at a blank screen and you're like, I don't know how to create a talk or begin, or what do I do here? We have a simple worksheet template for you to follow through whenever you're creating your next talk or presentation that really demystifies it. Now, again, rather than just hearing me share this with you, let me let you hear directly from Pat Flynn, who's someone we've worked with on his presentations and talks.
Hey, what's up? This is Pat Flynn from smartpassiveincome.com. I'm excited to shoot this video just to tell you really quick about how Grant helped me in my speaking career. I mean, I can remember various moments where he's given me a lot of great advice. But one in particular was right before a very challenging keynote sort of presentation I was going to make, and I had to tell this story, and I wasn't quite sure how to frame it. And actually, Grant pulled me aside, being as helpful as he always is. He goes, "Hey, Pat, why don't we just chill in my hotel room for a little bit? You can present it to me. I can walk you through some of what I would do to improve it." And we did that. It was honestly some of the best advice I'd gotten. And then I nailed the presentation literally just a couple hours after that. And so I'm very thankful for Grant. And that's just one of the many moments that he's offered to help with a lot of my speaking career. And I'm just excited because, I know he does this for a living. He helps others learn how to present well. And I know he's not just all talk because he's helped me, but I've also seen him on stage many times and he just crushes it. And I'm so thankful that he can help others do the same because I know how important and how powerful speaking can be. but also it's an art and it's a challenge. But Grant can be there to support you through that, like he supported me. So check him out if you haven't already. And Grant, thanks for all your help, man. I appreciate it.
So again, appreciate those kind words from Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income, and so if you haven't checked out past stuff, definitely check him out. But again, we want to walk you through within Booked and Paid to Speak on finding and booking gigs, and then within the Art of Speaking on how to create and deliver a great talk. So make sure that you grab that as well whenever you are getting signed up there. So let's do a quick recap here, and then we'll do some more bonuses. So the Booked and Paid to Speak video training program, the private discussion group and Q&A calls, the unlimited email consulting with our Speaker Lab coaches, the Booked and Paid to Speak vault, the emails, contracts, checklists, all of that's going to be there. The 12 advanced training modules plus the 12 speaker success stories. So all of this is going to be included inside of Booked and Paid to Speak. Now, we've got some more bonuses to come, all right? Because again, I know that you like bonuses, right? Okay. And remember, don't forget the Art of Speaking. Make sure that you snag that as well. So here's some additional bonuses we're going to throw in here to, again, make this a no-brainer for you. So anyone who joins while we are here on this training, okay, this is only available for those that join while we're on the training. We've already had several people already join. So for those that join while we're on the training, we're going to include a 15-minute one-on-one video call, 15-minute one-on-one video coaching call with one of our Speaker Lab coaches. All right. So we don't really do any one-on-one coaching outside of this. So anyone that joins right now while we're here on this training before the clock strikes 0, which looks like we've got a few more minutes here, you're going to get this 15-minute coaching call. All right. So that's the first bonus. There's more where that came from. Okay. The second bonus for anyone who joins while we're on the training here is you're going to get a 6-month featured membership to Gig Salad, a 6-month featured membership to Gig Salad. Now you may be thinking, okay, I'm interested, but what's Gig Salad? So Gig Salad is a marketplace to connect speakers with event planners. They have 300 new speaking gig listings per month. Look at that. That's not a typo. 300 new speaking gig listings per month. And so we're going to give you a featured membership from them that's going to give you maximum exposure, the highest visibility. If you go on their site, I mean, you can look 6-month membership of the featured is $289. You can go buy it right now. But again, for those who join while we are on this training right now, before the clock strikes 0, we're going to give you that 6-month featured membership to Gig Salad. We're going to give that to you for free. That's just our, and we're going to include that for you as a way to reward you for taking action. Third bonus we have for you. Third bonus is a website and demo video review. So this way you can submit your website, your video to us, and our team, we will review it. We will go through it. We'll make specific recommendations on things you can change and things that you can do to help you get more bookings. So for example, Jake shared this with us recently. He said, hey, everyone, thanks for the review of my demo video, Melanie. I edited it, taking all your recommendations into consideration. It's 100 times better. Thank you. So again, sometimes when you're too close to it, you're like, what changes do I need to make to my website, to my demo video? We've looked at literally hundreds of websites and videos. We know what works and what doesn't work. And so again, there's this fast action bonus for those who join while we're on the training. We are going to give you this bonus where we will review your website and demo video and give you some recommended changes that you can make. All right, we're going to throw in one more, but I mean, we're packing stuff on here, okay? Is this helpful so far? You feeling good? Okay, let's throw in one more bonus for those that pay in full. Now, this is a bonus that's only for those that pay in full today, okay? Remember I talked to you earlier about Podium, that Speaker Lab WordPress website theme, okay? We offer it on our website. We sell it for $197. You can certainly go pick it up there. But what we're going to do is for those who join while we're here on this training and pay in full, we are going to give you this WordPress theme. We're going to give that to you for free. Okay, so if you're like, I have a website and it's ugly and it needs some updating, or I don't have a website and I don't know where to begin. If you know how to like paint by numbers and you know how to like follow that, then this is what this is for a website. We want to give you exactly what you need to build your website, to create your website. So again, we offer this for sale, but for those who join today, who pay in full, you're going to get this WordPress theme website template for free. All right. Again, that's only for those who join while we're on this training and those that pay in full. You will get the WordPress theme Podium. You will get that for free. So how do you join? Again, you can go to thespeakerlab.com/action, thespeakerlab.com/action, or click the link on the right side there. It'll take you to this form that looks just like this. Don't forget to add the art of speaking. If that's something that you're interested in, make sure you add that. Again, totally optional, but I would definitely encourage you to pick up the art of speaking as well. All right, so at this point, remember, you have the potential, now you need the plan. You have the potential, now you need the plan. What kind of speaker will you be? Will you be a dabbler or will you be a action taker? Will you be a dabbler or an action taker? We want you to be action takers. That's why we want to reward those who take action. So this could be you. This should be you up there on stage. There are people that need your message, but you have to be the one that takes action. Joe said, Grant, I'm doing 2 keynotes this week. We grew by $100,000 last year. Thanks for all of your tips. Jeremy said, I completed my video and website, then found out Friday I'll be the opening speaker for a local conference on innovation and entrepreneurship. Loving the BPS materials. Look at this. It said a great week. Booked 4 speaking jobs, 3 in 2018, 1 January 2019, 2 paid, 2 with book sales. Thanks heaps. And Jill said, I spoke for free on Tuesday. Someone who heard me speak reached out to ask me help them re-engage their employees. $9,000 contract signed on Friday for a follow-up workshop and 24 hours of consulting. My first money from speaking. Look at that. First money from speaking was a $9,000 contract. Now we're going to get to some Q&A here in just a second. But before we do, let me let you hear from a couple other speakers and the results that they've got.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Ducker here. Just wanted to shoot this quick video to talk about my good friend and fellow keynote speaker and all-around speaking rock star, quite frankly, Grant Baldwin. Grant is a guy that I consistently turn to for advice when it comes to building my own speaking career, as well as the people that are within my community and my audience. He is a consummate pro. He's an amazing source of energy and enthusiasm. He's empathetic towards other speakers. He knows how to help them get more done and make more money, and he's just generally a speaking rock star. So if you want to learn anything about public speaking, how to get gigs, how to get paid, how to make money, how to build a business around your speaking talent, I very seriously suggest that you check out Grant Baldwin.
Hi, I'm Jeff Goins, the best-selling author of 5 books, and I've learned more about the art and business of public speaking from the Speaker Lab and my good friend Grant Baldwin than from anyone else. And I've done a lot of seminars, a lot of courses, a lot of different programs to learn how to take the content in my books and turn them into speeches. And Grant and his team at the Speaker Lab are my go-to resources. I love everything that I've learned from them. They've helped me grow my speaking business and better understand how speaking fits into all of the other work that I do and how to be more strategic with it. So I'm a big, big fan. Thanks, guys.
Hi, I'm Kathy Sikorsky, and I took Booked and Paid to Speak, I'm going to say about 1.5 years ago. Best investment I've ever made. And actually, probably for reasons you don't expect. Because the 2 things that I'd like to bring to your attention that I learned that gave me some peace and yet some motivation is that Grant will tell you 1,000,000 times this is a business of relationships. And I'm building some great relationships. And the other thing that he's going to tell you, and you need to listen, is that it takes time. And you see all that paper back there in those 2 boxes? Those are boxes of my books and different speeches that I'm working on for different presentations. So you're going to get invaluable advice. I absolutely guarantee that. I found some amazing tools, and there is nothing but good here. And Grant's a good guy, so go for it, and good luck to you. Remember, good relationships, patience, and good tools. All of it at Booked and Paid to Speak. This is Kathy Sikorsky saying, good luck.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Smith. You have a story, you have a message, and now you just need more audiences to share the message with. And that's where Grant comes in. If you're looking for a proven methodology on how you can become booked and paid to speak more frequently, then Grant's your guy. Working with Grant and adopting some of his tools and his strategies, I've been able to move from delivering just a handful of presentations a year to now speaking full-time, and I couldn't be happier. So if you're committed to becoming booked and paid to speak more frequently, then I would...
All right. So again, I just want to share these are people who are just like you. I hope that's one of the things that you catch. That one of the things that you get is that they are people who had the potential but needed the plan. They had the potential but needed the plan. And so we want to walk through exactly what you need to do to build and grow your speaking business as well. I want to share stories of you, of what you've done to follow through, to take action, and to see results in your own speaking business. So if you have some questions, go ahead and drop those in the chat. If you have questions about Booked and Paid to Speak, if you have questions about how to join or how to register, or if you're running into any issues or anything, go ahead and drop those in the chat. Or if you have any questions about anything that we've covered or talked about so far, about websites or demo videos or audiences or topics or any of that type of stuff, now would be a good chance to drop those into the chat, and we're going to get to as many questions as we possibly can. Now, before we get there, let's do a quick recap of where we're at here to kind of wrap up here. So you have here's what you're going to get: the Booked and Paid to Speak video training program. Again, that's going to be, it's 26 different videos that are going to walk you through step by step of exactly how to find and book paid speaking engagements. That's the core. That's the meat, the meat and potatoes of what you're going to need for finding and booking gigs. Then remember, you're not alone here. We're going to give you the private discussion group. That's where you have over 1,000 other speakers just like you that you can connect with, answer questions, get feedback, get support, share stories, share wins. And then you're also going to have those monthly Q&A calls. So a live call every single month where you can get your questions answered. You always have that feedback and support. You're also going to have the unlimited email consulting with Speaker Lab coaches. So you have, anytime you get stuck, you have a question, you need whatever it may be, which, by the way, like, this is going to be, you've got our support team that's available all the time. So anytime you've got a question and you feel stuck, like, don't hesitate to reach out. But the real in-depth email consulting, then you're going to have that access to our coaches. So definitely not going to want to miss out on that. We're also going to give you the Booked and Paid to Speak vault. This is, again, those email scripts, the contracts, the checklists, the follow-up flow chart. All of that's going to be included inside that Booked and Paid to Speak vault. Every system, every process, every document, everything we use. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. If you want to know how to reach out to potential clients, then we will give you those email scripts. If you want to know how to follow up with them, we'll give you the follow-up flow chart. If you want to know what contract to send them, we'll give you our contract. We're going to give you all of those things so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We're also going to give you the 12 advanced training modules. So again, if you're looking for ways to build your business in ways like writing a book or building an email list or some advanced strategies for contacting event planners or just selling from stage or booking gigs, we're going to give that to you as well. And then also you're going to get the 12 speaker success stories. So you hear from other speakers about how they built and grew their business and how you can do the same. Then again, these next 4, these are going to be 4 fast action bonuses. These are only for people who join while we are here on the training. So you're going to get that one-on-one coaching call. So again, this is a one-on-one video coaching call where we can help you with wherever you need help, whatever you feel stuck on, whatever you're concerned with, wherever you're just like, can you help me kind of talk through the topic trifecta, or can you take a quick look at my website, or any of those things, we can help you with. You're also going to get the 6-month Gig Salad membership. Remember, this is a place where people are actually there on a daily basis looking for speakers. 300 new speaker listings on or new event listings each month. So we're going to hook this up for you as well. And then you're going to get the website demo video review from a Speaker Lab coach. So that way we will go through, give specific feedback to make it an absolute no-brainer for you. And then finally, this is only for those that pay in full. You're going to get the WordPress theme website template. So again, we wanted to put everything in here you could possibly need in order to be successful as a speaker. So again, total value there is just over $12,000. We offer it on our website for $14.97, but like I said, we're going to knock an additional $500 off, so you can get it for just $9.97 as a one-time investment, or you can do $97 a month for 12 months. So $97 a month for 12 months. So remember, on the right side there, you have nothing to lose, everything to gain. You have a 60-day money-back guarantee. So we know this works if you do the work. And then you also have the double your investment guarantee. The double your investment guarantee, meaning you have a full year. If you go through and you don't at least double your investment within a year, we will refund your investment. Again, we just know this works if you do the work. We've taken away all risk for you, and we've made this a complete no-brainer. All right. So again, if you have questions, go ahead and drop those in the chat. We got a lot of people continuing to join. So welcome to all of you. Looking forward to connecting with you, to working with you, to serving you inside. So again, if you have additional questions, now would be the time to drop those in the chat, and let's get to some Q&A. All right. I had a question earlier about the again, the Booked and Paid to Speak Vault and whether or not you can get that separately. You cannot. That is only going to be for those who join while we are here on this training. It's only going to be for you can't get it separately. It's going to be for anyone that joins Booked and Paid to Speak. Another question earlier was about demo videos, and what do you do if you don't have any footage right now, right? That's a good question, because it's kind of this chicken egg situation. Is I don't have any footage, and I don't have any gigs, and I need one to get the other. I need a footage in order to get gigs, and I need gigs in order to get footage. What do you do? So we talk about this more inside the training program, but there's a few things you could do. One is that you could find some type of local event that you'd speak at for free. Okay, we have a lot of people that do this, and they just try to find some type of local thing. You could absolutely do that, and that can be very, very effective. Now, another thing you could do is you could host your own event, right? And by host your own event, I don't mean like some large scale, you get some big theater or conference room or anything like that. Just some small local thing that you could do. Now, it's important that you know this. You don't want to do this at like your you want to do this in the type of setting where someone would actually hire you to speak. So don't do this in like your kitchen or your living room or anything like that. Like nobody's going to hire you to speak there. So don't try to shoot your video footage there. You want to go to, a ballroom, a banquet hall, some type of setting where someone would actually hire you to speak. Okay. The other option is that you could speak to an empty room. Now, I totally get this seems weird, that seems odd, but it can be very, very effective. Now, let's go back to one of the things we touched on earlier, is that remember, you're doing this as like version 1.0. Okay, you're just getting some footage to get started, and eventually you'll upgrade to some better footage, and that's fine. But work with what you've got and improve as you go. Good question. What other questions? Again, if you have other questions about Booked and Paid to Speak, we got people continuing to join. I know that the clock struck 0, but we're still here. We're still answering questions. So go ahead and drop that in so we can get those questions answered for you. Question earlier from people, for someone who was asking about how this worked, and we touched on this a little bit earlier, but how does this work in other countries? Yeah, so like I mentioned before, I personally am located in the U.S. A lot of our students are in the U.S., but we do have students in 16 different countries from around the world. So Australia and in Asia and Europe and Africa and Canada and South America. I mean, literally all over the world. I think every continent except Antarctica. As far as I know, there's nobody down there. There's probably not a lot of speaking gig opportunities in Antarctica, but we have a lot of people from literally all over the world. So yeah, while I'm based in the US and a lot of our students are, we do know that a lot of this still works. You may just have to adapt it some to your culture or to where you are in the world, but this can absolutely work for you. And like I said, you also still have you have that 60-day money back guarantee. So again, we know this works if you do the work. All right, what else? What other questions do you have? Questions. Go ahead and drop those in the chat so we can get to, again, as many of those as possible. I'm kind of scrolling through here, see what other questions we've got. Good question here. How much does the influence of one's, like if you have an accent, how much does that affect your success as a public speaker? So if you have an accent, should you change that? Should you try to remove that? I personally, as long as people can understand what you're saying, and I think that's a big key. As long as people can understand what you're saying, then I think you should leave the accent in. I think oftentimes it's endearing for people. Remember, as a speaker, you are one person talking to a collection of other people, and people want to connect with other people. And so if you have an accent that is a Southern accent, or it's got a little charm to it, or it's got a little twang to it, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Again, the key being as long as people can understand what it is that you're saying. Now, I know a couple of people mentioned like, hey, Grant, I'm super interested, but, finances are tight, or, can I get this later? So let's put it to you like this, Grant, what if I don't have the money? Okay, great question. Totally understand that. Okay, let's talk real quick about the difference between spending money and investing money. Difference between spending money and investing money. When you spend money, there's no ROI. There's no return on that investment. That money is gone. So when you buy furniture or clothes or a new car or vacations, you don't get anything back for that. That money is spent. Versus when you invest money, there is a return on investment. There is that ROI. You get that money back plus more. So if you invest in real estate or retirement or education or knowledge or training that you actually apply, you get more back for that. My wife and I, we invested into our retirement every single month. Every single month we put that money in. And for us, it's not a cost. We know we're going to get that money back. Plus, we're going to get back more. So if you go back and look at all of the speakers that I showed you who invested in Booked and Paid to Speak, and they earn back more than what they put in, that's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you do that, right? I remember, again, like I mentioned at the very beginning, I invested $999 to attend a training when my wife and I were newly married. We had a child on the way, and finances were really, really tight. But I knew that if I had that plan, I knew I would earn back that investment. Like I said, that very first gig, I earned back that investment. So everything after that was icing on the cake. So I've gone on to do hundreds and hundreds of gigs. I've earned millions of dollars from speaking. But that first investment, $999, if you gave me a way right now where you could say, listen, for $999, if you do the work in a couple of years, you're going to earn back millions of dollars. Is that worth it? Absolutely. That's a total no-brainer, right? Because again, I took what I learned from that and I applied it and I did the work. And so we know that if you do the work, you will see results in your own business. You will earn back a return on your investment. Let's see here. One of my favorite quotes here is this: the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Some of you are just, you're on the fence right now and you're just kind of back and forth and you're just kind of thinking like, man, I've wanted to do this speaking thing for a long time, but I've just dragged my feet on it for whatever reason, right? At what point are you going to stop dragging your feet? At what point are you going to actually do something? Are you going to take action? How long are you going to wonder if you have what it takes? Rima said, thanks so much, Grant. Really, all of this is because the guidance you gave us during the course for the past 3 months. I've been sifting through every article on the internet, like shooting an arrow in the dark to find out how I could get my foot in the door. Thanks to you and your wonderful course, I found my way, and now I can even see results. Look, maybe that describes you, like shooting an arrow in the dark. Like I'm watching YouTube videos, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm reading articles, and I'm still having trouble finding my way in the dark. Okay. I totally get that. Just like Rima, but taking action, and now she sees the results. Bethany said, I learned more during one module of Grant's course than I have after booking my own speaking engagements for the past 3 years. And it's taken action and seeing the results. TJ said, your email process greatly helped me. I booked 2 gigs, have a possible third. I'm being paid $3,500 and $700 for those 2. Look at that, over $4,000 on the first 2 gigs. On an $1,000 investment. That's 4 times his return already on just those 2 gigs. Gail said, since joining the course 2 months ago, I've booked 3 engagements totaling $1,750. She said, yikes, I quit my corporate job to coach, speak, write full time. 5 years of speaking, coaching occasionally. Now it's time to take it to the next level. Full of excitement and fear, but have to give it a shot. No regrets. And Michael said, Grant's knowledge about the speaking industry is unmatched. His coaching has more than paid for itself within 2 months. More than paid for itself just within the first 2 months. So again, there's that total recap of everything you're going to get. Again, to over $12,000 in value there that you can get just for $97 a month. $97 a month for 12 months there. Let me ask you this. I know we got a couple more questions I'm going to get to here in just a second, but some of you, I know from just looking at the webinar software that we've got here, several of you are still here and you're just on the fence right now. You're really intrigued. You want to do this, but you're on the fence for whatever reason. If you would say that that's you, if you'd say you're on the fence, would you just type that in the chat? Just type in fence. Just type in fence or just type in on the fence. No judgment. You just feel like you're on the fence. Just type in the chat on the fence. And would you do this for me? Would you just tell me why you're on the fence? What are you worried about? What's holding you back? What are you concerned about? If you would say that you're on the fence, why are you on the fence? What's keeping you from taking action? What's keeping you from making a decision? Because here's my challenge to you. My challenge is that you would get off the fence, that you would make a decision one way or the other. If you're in, then be in. But if you're out, then be out. But don't just dilly-dally. Don't just stay on the fence. What I want you to do is make a decision. And so again, if you're in, then be in. But don't just wait around. Okay? I want you to take action. I want you to make a decision one way or the other. See a question here. Hey, Grant, does this program work if you are sponsoring or acting on behalf of a speaker? Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, we have several people inside the program who've done that, who said, I'm not a speaker, but I work with someone who is a speaker, or I'm working as as an agent or something like that. And I'm helping them book gigs in their business, or I'm working with someone who's kind of a personal brand and they want to book more gigs and we need some help. Yeah, absolutely. Totally understand that. And so, yeah, this absolutely works. You take it and apply it. And so there's going to be some things that you're going to need their involvement on getting clear on, what they speak on and who they speak to. But the process then of reaching out, of following up, of booking gigs, of providing a great experience. There's a gal named Lisa who's worked in my business for over 9 years. And Lisa helps run all the behind the scenes of the business. So I still do a lot of the sales part of it, but a lot of once something's booked, she does a lot of that. And so it would be really, really good for if you work in the business that you're able to help someone else with that. There's absolutely going to be parts of it that they need to go through, but there's certainly going to be a lot of parts that are relevant and applicable for you to go through and to help with. Someone asked if we would do a check. We've done that a couple times. Yeah, we wouldn't be able to do it for a payment plan, but if you want to do the pay in full, the $9.97, you could certainly do that. The simplest way to do that would just be to email support@thespeakerlab.com, support@thespeakerlab.com, and they can talk you through where to send that. We can help you out with that. All right. Any more questions? We'll wait just another second or so. I know that, again, that the clock has struck 0, but we'll wait just another second. If there's no more questions, we will go ahead and wrap up. And like I said, these bonuses will be disappearing. All right. So, again, if you do have other questions, or if you missed something that we covered earlier, feel free to email us, support@thespeakerlab.com, support@thespeakerlab.com. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Again, if you have other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out, support@thespeakerlab.com. We will make this offer available just for another couple of minutes. And so if you want those 4 fast action bonuses, you can snag those, and then those will be disappearing. All right, my friends. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. We'll talk to you soon. See you on the inside. You're awesome.